Good evening and welcome to the Metropolitan Elites, these sneering lefties of Lizard Overlord, Ivory Towers, and here we are in our Westminster bubble.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're in, as you can tell by our accents, that's where we are.
Passively regurgitating this diatribe that has been handed down to us from
The lizards. The left-wing lizards this time.
Yeah, left-wing lizard.
Apart from the right-wing lizards, who are also there doing the same thing for some reason.
Yeah.
And they said this.
Okay, so first things off, we've had some advice from our videos that we should maintain eye contact and try and remain upbeat. So here goes. Google.
Yeah, Google. So Google are paying a little bit more tax, and obviously maybe the government have failed to spin. Their intended spin was when they tell the media what to say, and usually they comply. Is that now Google have paid their taxes, aren't we wonderful? And they've paid a little bit. And what that really means is they're much less likely to ever pay their taxes now because they've said, we'll pay this little bit. So, George Osborne has helped them to do that, to not pay their taxes.
Yeah, so they paid something like £130 million worth of tax. It's been estimated that's about 3% of their UK profit or sales, whatever. The problem is it's very opaque because there's no information in the public domain about how this figure was arrived at.
Secret backroom deal.
Yeah, which is what a lot of people are complaining about. Do you think it's an acceptable amount, Kev?
No. Next question. It's not. We can't afford homes, we can't afford, we've got to tax rooms in houses. Evil immigrants are coming in and we can't afford to keep them. And we can't afford to pay junior doctors. We can't give grants to people who can't afford their education. But no, don't tax Google, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Poor innocent people.
It does. I mean, the problem it has is it makes people who pay their tax, their full whack of tax, which is the majority of people, PAYE, and self-employed people who, diligently filling out their tax returns thinking, oh God, where am I going to get money for this tax? It makes them feel like chumps. They're slaving away, they're doing a big chunk of work for the government, paying their bit so we can build roads and build infrastructure and internet facilities so that Google can operate. The internet infrastructure in this country is going through modification because it's so dire, and yet we're one of the most heavily internet using nations.
Yeah. Google
are benefiting from that, and yet they're not paying tax in this country. It seems a little bit out of order. Say.
Yeah, and obviously it's gone on for years, and everybody knows that kind of thing. But there is this thing of this sort of simplification of everything where the right want to blame those at the bottom and the left want to blame those at the top, as if that's a thing. Yeah. It's not a thing. Surely we all agree, don't we all agree? It's not about being anti-business in any sense, because like you said, it's the middle classes and it's the businesses, the small businesses creating all that economic activity. They're the heroes of the economy, and they're paying the most.
Yeah. They're
paying their 40%. On their own income, as well as the very, very poor people getting completely screwed over and chucked out on the street, pretty much.
I mean, this is one of those issues that tends to bridge left and right. People on the left would have a lot in common with people on the right on this issue. There seems to be a lot of settled view. Now, I'm going to be quite controversial here. If, as is claimed, Google are paying 20% of their global profits in tax, although the majority of that is not in this country and they pay a lot in the US, is that out of order? Is that really so wrong? I mean, what that speaks to is the sort of failure of our industrial policy over the last few decades.
Yeah, 36 years.
Yeah, to actually develop worldwide companies that trade on a worldwide basis that bring revenue into this country.
Yeah.
So, we had JCB. A big thing was made of JCB in the last parliament. They were going to Brazil and they were selling bits in Brazil, and we're all fantastic about that. I mean, that's one company. We don't seem to have what America has, which is people who are interested in innovating, creating products, which then go out and become worldwide successes. What we seem to have in the business class is Mike Ashley's, people who go out and they look at an existing business model, selling sportswear, and think, how can I reduce the costs in an innovative way, and how can I reduce labour costs to maximise profit? So what they're doing is they're essentially tweaking models and think that's the way to make money. We don't create new businesses, we don't create new products, we don't develop anything. what we do is we hammer down on wages and we hammer down on suppliers. If that means going abroad to India or whatever to get sport supplies, that's what we do. If that means having incredibly harsh working conditions, prison-like
literally
working practices, well, so be it. I mean, that is a successful company and we should be lauded because we're entrepreneurs. I don't think that was the concept of entrepreneur that was conceived of at the beginning of all this sort of neoliberal thing. When I look at people like, is it Elon Musk? Who does the electric cars and stuff like that. You know, there is an innovator, there is a guy who goes out and develops products. There's only one real person I can think of in my lifetime, British inventor, who's actually gone on to develop a product which has some kind of revolutionary aspect.
Yeah.
That's Dyson.
Yeah.
Hoovers.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, if we had like a whole stream of Dysons, this wouldn't be a problem to us. Okay, Google come over here and exploit our market and then pay tax in America, but we've got lots of people in America trading in their big markets, bringing tax back to us.
I mean, you could argue there's a cultural thing there. There's something very British.
Yeah.
About failure.
Well, traditionally, we've had very good engineers in this country.
Yeah.
You know, you take a difficult problem and you take it to Britain, and there will be engineers here that will find an innovative way around the problem. You know, I've worked with a few of them. There was like it's called Perry Innovation in Melton Mowbray. They were like a big, they did lots of research, engineering and stuff like that. And their funding basically came from the EU. It wasn't British-based funding because we're not into that. We don't fund research and development in this country like they do in America, for example. Now, Google, the original algorithm that they used to develop the search was developed in the laboratories of colleges and universities in America, subsidised by public taxpayers. I think the taxpayer in America has a right to expect some kind of return from that. So in that sense, Google are actually doing the right thing, aren't they?
Yeah, if we don't invest in them, why should they? That's a good argument.
Yeah, I mean, their original investment came from the States, so they should be paying tax in the States.
Yeah, but that's a thing that's been part of our neoliberal thing from the start as well. You know, I mean, the computer industry, and particularly the games industry in the 80s, there was investment at the very start, and then it completely dropped off mid-80s.
Yeah.
And then the US and Japan and whatever just overtook us. At one point we were ahead in technology. People don't realise this. And we were quickly overtaken. But like I said, there's a social aspect, and you know, some of our characters, our entrepreneurs and our inventors, as they like to call themselves, tend to be strange people who are difficult to work with.
Yeah,
you know.
as a lot of them are. Yeah, so I mean, I find that interesting. There is nuance in the argument, and it is incredibly browbeating when you hear these stories of, you know, Facebook, you know, they had 4 billion turnover in 1 quarter and then paid like 4,000 or 14,000 pounds worth of tax.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the scale of it. It's not just the money, is it? It's the scale of what they do. It's not nothing else in history where massive proportion of humanity is using both of those things.
Yeah.
And it's quite frightening that they're not giving back.
It seems when you look at the schemes that they're using to avoid paying tax in this country, i.e. exporting or placing IP in a tax haven basically, and exporting the profits to there, you realise that the solution to this is obviously global cooperation, coming to some kind of global agreement on what's justified, and we're in a really bad position for that now because.
And if we left Europe, it would be even worse.
Well, yeah, I can't believe David Cameron has much credibility abroad.
Anyway.
Incredible troubles that we're seeing in Europe, and he's going around occupying, you know, a lot of resources and energy talking about some kind of minor fudge just to placate his backbenchers.
Yeah, and supposedly hiding some statistics about actually the number of migrants on benefits is tiny. They're trying to pretend that's not there.
Yeah.
Because he needs that narrative there to persuade that there.
But
the only reason he needs to persuade that there is because of that there.
So, I mean, it's incredibly complicated, but hopefully opinion is coagulating that something needs to be done about this, and
it does seem
international agreement can
natural. It does seem natural that maybe you know, globalisation. The people who were big for it at the start didn't realise how fast it would happen.
Yeah.
A lot of that is to do with the internet. I mean, look at the 2 companies we were talking about.
I mean, those are exceptions. How many internet companies have started and gone by the wayside? So, you know, everyone saw the potential, so maybe there was things put in place to support them along the way because they would become big. Well, they're big now.
Yeah.
Now's the time to get them to pay their fair share in the country that
Yeah.
they're making money in.
Yeah, and the problem is who's paying them? Because the users aren't paying them; they're giving them a free service with advertising. So it's the advertisers giving them the money. So it's even more complicated than that. It's not like poor people are giving them their money, etc.
So, I think that's enough, isn't it? We've waited off long enough.
We've written off a lot.
Yeah. What would you like us to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us some comments.
Yeah.
And we'll
Please.
and we'll try and fit it in.
Yeah, let us know. Anything at all.
Yeah.
I think we've generally been to Westminster. We're in the Westminster bubble.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be newsy politics more than just Jeremy Corbyn has said this every week. So anyway, next week our lizard overlords will bring us up once again, and the Metropolitan Elites will be back, and they won't be ill this time.